let's talk about the jobs report. The jobs report came out, and the headline I'm going to pick up on is actually from CNN. CNN is like, I don't know, they like to dabble in news, right? So they come out and they say economy added a stronger than expected 177,000 jobs in April. Whose expectations did they surpass? Yours, perhaps?
A bunch of economists.
A
bunch of economists' expectations.
Uh-huh.
The number was 130. My number was actually the jobs report actually beat my number. I had on paper in the center square 150,000 jobs.
So they did beat your expectations,
they did
sir.
beat my expectations. That's right. The thing that I want to, and I think it was a good jobs report. It was a good jobs report. The unemployment rate is stuck at 4.2%. Right. The wage growth, I have to say, continues to cool. It continues to move lower. 0.28% month over month in March, down in April to 0.17. If you round it to 0.3 and 0.2. 3.84 year over year, in March, 3.77% year over year in April. But I want to bring special attention to the fact that despite what seems to be an okay jobs report, remember the expectations were low for this jobs report. What seems to be a pretty good jobs report, maybe is taking away from or masking the fact that some serious cooling is still very much underway. There were downward revisions to the February jobs report, downward revisions to the March jobs report, and I suspect the April jobs report will also be revised lower. The trend is closer to the 12-month average of 152,000 jobs, which would have been very much in line with my April forecast of 150,000 jobs.
All right, so let me throw some inside the stats numbers at you. So here's what's included inside of this report. Addition of 51,000 jobs in healthcare. Healthcare continues to be the sector that grows quite a bit, and we've talked about that in the past. That is public and private sector, right? I mean, that is not just private sector healthcare. Other sectors posting gains, and I'm taking this straight out of the CNBC story that moved behind the news this morning. Transportation and warehousing, that's 29,000 jobs. Financial activities, that's a category that I haven't seen, in 5 digits. Came in at 14,000. And then it notes that social assistance was also up. The federal government, according to this story, reported a loss of 9,000 jobs on the month. And so we're talking about the month of April. I think that's 9,000 net government jobs, not all federal. These are just government jobs, right? Federal government jobs have declined by just 26,000 since January. And this is again straight out of the CNBC story. As employees furloughed but still receiving severance are not counted as unemployed, according to the BLS. So, and also just the last data point, manufacturing saw a loss of 1,000 jobs. So let's go back real quick. So on the Doge initiative, there's been a lot of hue and cry about, how many jobs are being taken out of the federal government. Some people are upset about this. We haven't really seen statistically the job losses just yet.
We're seeing them. They're small given the size of the number of workers that work for the federal government. But we are seeing them and we're counting them. And I think we have to be a little bit careful because, I've said this on the show before. Look, these people spend. They're consumers. They buy stuff in the private sectors. They buy groceries like you and I. They buy housing. They right? And so if you see a big increase in layoffs, in federal government layoffs, you also see likely a decline in consumer spending, that will ultimately also affect private sector businesses, that go ahead and produce goods and services that are consumed by those government workers. And so again, it's a government spending shrinking is in a sense positive when you think about budget deficits and the pressure on interest rates. But at the same time, it also means growth is slowing, right? And that if growth slows, first you'll see a direct increase in the unemployment rate from those workers, but you could actually also see private sector workers being laid off because the U.S. economy is slowing as a whole. And so there are all of these moving parts to consider when we think about policy decisions. And so again, this past week, we saw initial unemployment claims rise substantially. And so I want to make sure that people understand that, yes, the labor market looks pretty good right now on the surface, but downward revisions are likely coming, and the unemployment rate is likely going up in a month ahead.
What are the other takeaways that you get from the report?
Yeah, I think, look, the industries that did well, we saw healthcare, but there are industries that are really, going to start to show weakness. And, the leisure and hospitality sector, still okay, but is likely to move lower. Construction sector, construction employment, still okay, but likely to move lower. All you have to do is look at construction spending and housing starts, right? Residential employment is likely to move lower. Housing starts are down and falling. We know why. A lot of apartment deliveries, a lot of construction already underway. And of course, builders are just being cautious. And so you have these sectors that are likely going to show, declines in the months ahead. And I think the Fed is right to be cautious. Labor market slowdowns are rarely linear. Employers often hoard workers wherein uncertainty begins to increase. They delay layoffs, especially in light of the fact that we had some major labor shortages in the last couple of years. But when confidence fades, layoffs could accelerate very quickly. And I think the late April spike in initial claims points to a small increase in the unemployment rate in the May report.
Yeah. Well, obviously we're going to keep a close eye on that. I think that's good for now. And I appreciate your thoughts as always.